When it comes to ancient names, few can hold a candle to the one uncovered by experts in their most recent discovery. With roots dating back thousands of years, this name is not just old, it's downright archaic, baffling experts and catching many off guard. But one thing's for sure, this name is definitely worth checking out for yourself. So why wait? Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will discover the oldest name in existence for yourself. You won't be disappointed. It is believed that writing was invented around 3000 B.C.E. by the Sumerians, who lived in large towns with organized economies in what is now southern Iraq. The first tablets with written inscriptions were the product of administrators, possibly of significant temple organizations, who recorded the transit and storage of items as well as the distribution of rations. When temple authorities wanted to keep track of the grain, sheep, and cattle entering or departing their stocks and fields, it became difficult for them to rely only on their memories to do so. As a consequence of this, a new strategy was required. In the earliest writings, which are now known as pictographs, consisted of representations of the items that scribes were required to record. At the close of the 4th century, earlier recording methods gave way to the development of writing, which allowed for the recording of spoken languages. The term given to the first form of written language that was utilized in Mesopotamia is Sumerian. The vast majority of the first tablets come from the city of Uruk, which is located in southern Mesopotamia. It is probable that this is the location where the art of writing in general was first developed. These writings were produced using a pointed implement and wet clay tablets as the medium. It would seem that the scribes understood that it was more expedient and less difficult to produce representations of things rather than accurate images of the same items, such as animals. They began forming regular marks in the clay so that they could produce signals that several people might recognize. Since cuneiform signs were designed from the beginning to represent sounds and continued to develop in this direction, they were able to be used to record spoken language. As soon as this goal was fulfilled, it became feasible to communicate and pass on ideas and thoughts via the medium of writing. One of the earliest known kinds of writing is cuneiform. Its meaning is wedge-shaped, since it was written on a clay tablet using a reed stylus that had been chopped to create a wedge-shaped impression. Both written works, like the Epic of Gilgamesh and letters in clay envelopes, have been discovered. Historical chronicles and huge libraries, like the one that belonged to the Assyrian monarch Ashurbanipal, have also come to light. Recordings of commerce, business, and religious activities were all kept in cuneiform script. Stories, mythology, and private correspondence were also written in cuneiform. A treatise on astronomy written in cuneiform as recently as 75 CE. Around 15 distinct languages, including Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian, Assyrian, Elamite, Hittite, Eurasian, and Old Persian, were written in cuneiform during the course of its 3,000-year existence. The department has one of the most significant collections of cuneiform tablets in the world. It is maybe the greatest collection found outside of Iraq and comprises over 130,000 manuscripts and fragments. The Library of Ashurbanipal, which contains thousands of the most significant tablets ever discovered, serves as the collection's focal point. Excavator Austin Henry Laird of the library instantly understood the importance of these tablets, as he noted in his report. They provide us with resources for fully deciphering the cuneiform script, reconstructing Assyrian history and language, and learning more about the traditions, sciences, and literature of its inhabitants. The oldest royal library still in existence today is the Library of Ashurbanipal. At his capital, Nineveh contemporary Kuyunjik, researchers from the British Museum found more than 30,000 cuneiform tablets and pieces. Numerous divinatory, magical, medicinal, literary, and lexical works were discovered alongside historical inscriptions, correspondence, administrative documents, and legal documents. Since the first pieces were discovered during the 1850s excavations, this repository of knowledge has maintained unequaled significance for the contemporary study of the ancient Near East. The tale of Gilgamesh, a mythical king from Uruk, and his quest for immortality is the most well-known work of literature from ancient Mesopotamia. The Epic of Gilgamesh is a massive epic and the longest piece of Akkadian literature in the language of Babylonia and Assyria. It was well known across the ancient Near East, and copies of it have been discovered at Hattusis, Imar, Syria, and Megiddo, Lebanon. On this, the epic's 12th tablet, Gilgamesh and Utnapishtim, are introduced. Utnapishtim, like Noah in the Hebrew Bible, had been informed of the god's intention to send a massive flood. He constructed a boat and filled it with all of his valuable things, his family, domestic and wild animals, and talented artisans of all kinds. Before landing on a mountain known as Namush, Utnapishtim survived the flood for 6 days as humanity was wiped out. After being released, a dove and a swallow looked for dry ground to rest on, but were unsuccessful and flew back. Finally, he released a raven, but it did not come back, indicating that the seas must have subsided. The most well-known cuneiform tablet from Mesopotamia is an Assyrian interpretation of the Old Testament flood tale. George Smith, an assistant at the British Museum, recognized it in 1872. He leapt up and raced around the room in a tremendous state of excitement after reading the letter, which shocked the others in the room. He then started to undress himself. The tablet has a cuneiform writing as well as a distinctive map of Mesopotamia. Assyria, Elam, and other locations are listed, and Babylon is shown in the middle. A circular watercourse with the name Salt Sea encircles the core region. The sea's outer rim is enclosed by what were once 8 areas, each denoted by a triangle with the labels region or island and the distance between them. Despite the fact that the cuneiform writing is far from full, it seems that unusual and mythological creatures as well as famous heroes formerly roamed these areas. The zones are shown as triangles since that is how it was thought they would appear when approaching water. Although the locations are roughly in the right areas, the map's primary aim is to demonstrate the Babylonian perspective of the mythical world. The map is sometimes viewed as a genuine illustration of ancient geography. The chronology of Mesopotamia can be traced back to around 1200 BCE, according to Assyrian documents. Before this period, however, dating was less definite. One of the most significant cuneiform tablets for reconstructing Mesopotamian chronology prior to around 1400 BCE is this one. The text on the tablet is a duplicate of observations of the planet Venus made during the time of Amisaduqa, king of Babylon, nearly 1,000 years ago, and it was created in Nineveh in the 7th century BCE. In an effort to determine the dates of Amisaduqa, contemporary astronomers have exploited the specifics of the observations. We would want to be able to date the early 2nd and late 3rd millennium BCE Babylonian kings using this method. But because of the record's extreme inconsistency, there's a lot of ambiguity in the date. As a result, many chronologies have been used. Some historians use a high chronology, while others use a middle or low range of dates. Each of them has persuasive arguments in its favor. It may not come as a huge surprise, but experts have been able to locate the oldest name in existence, and it sure has us scratching our heads. What's more, this ancient moniker seems to contradict everything we think we know about language and human history. But is this really true? Or does the meaning behind this old name hold a deeper significance than we could ever have imagined? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, this discovery is definitely catching many people off guard and has us turning things over in our minds. Stay tuned to find out more.